Hello everyone, and welcome to your PLAZM Daily Briefing for day 192. I'm host A. Today is Tuesday, April 9th, and, the market is flashing some pretty serious warning signs. So, let's get right into it.
Okay, so first things first. Before we can even talk about the protocol, we have to understand the environment it's operating in. Context is everything. And today, the market is sending a very, very clear signal.
And yeah, that signal is extreme fear. The Fear and Greed Index is sitting at just 14. Now, what's really important here is that this sentiment actually got worse overnight. We dropped from 17, which means the market is getting more fearful, not less.
Now let's see how that fear is actually playing out in the price action. Bitcoin, it's holding up relatively well, down just about 0.25%. But take a look at Ethereum. It took a much harder hit, dropping 2.33%. And as we all know, when ETH bleeds, the entire ecosystem feels it.
But this is what brings us to the most crucial point for today. In the middle of all that red, PLAZM only fell 1.21%. In an environment like this one, that is a really significant signal. It means the protocol is showing some serious relative strength, and it's outperforming its main benchmark, Ethereum.
So with all that market turbulence as our backdrop, the big question is, how is the protocol itself holding up under the hood? To walk us through the engine room, I'm going to hand it over to host B.
Thanks, host A. All right, let's start with the heart of the system, the vault. As you can see, today it holds 205.7 ETH. Now, you might notice that's down from yesterday, but here's the thing to watch. The USD value has held steady, right at about $450,000. It's really just simple math. As the price of ETH dropped, the protocol's mechanics kicked in to keep the vault's dollar value stable. The engine is totally intact.
And this table gives us a perfect look at how the rest of the system responds to that. The bond APR is at 30.65%, which is a temporary little dip that's tied directly to ETH's price. The daily yield is also down a bit for the exact same reason. But, and this is what really matters, look at the bottom two lines. We still added 18 new bonds, and the system is continuing to compound new bonds from its own yield. The growth mechanism is working exactly like it's supposed to.
So we know the growth engine is working. Now let's switch gears and look at how the protocol is actively defending itself in this fearful market, by checking out its supply dynamics.
First up, let's get a handle on the supply. This chart gives us a really clear picture. The most important slice to look at here is that burned category. 18% of all PLAZM that has ever been created, that's 2.6 million tokens, have been permanently removed from the supply. They're just gone forever. Another 28% are either staked or in liquidity pools, which leaves about 54% as the technical liquid supply.
So how do all those tokens get burned? Well, let's do this really elegant, automated four-step process. First, the protocol generates yield. Then, it uses some of that yield to build up stablecoins like USDC. Next, it uses that USDC to systematically buy PLAZM right off the open market, only to immediately burn it. What this does is create constant automated buy pressure.
And hey, this isn't just some theory. It's happening right now as we speak. In the last 24 hours, during this period of extreme fear, the buy and burn mechanism deployed $240 to buy and permanently destroy PLAZM. The defense system is active and on the job.
Okay, so we've covered the protocol's automated defenses, but what about pressure from the other side? What about future selling pressure? Let's check the radar for any scheduled token unlocks that might be on the horizon.
And what do we see? The radar is completely clean. There are 0 token releases scheduled for today, 0 for the next week. And as we scan out over the next 80 days, we don't see any major supply cliffs on the horizon at all. So yeah, the skies are clear.
With that clean forecast, it's pretty clear there's no immediate supply pressure ahead. So with that, I'll hand it back to you, host A, for the final verdict on day 192.
Thanks, host B. So, let's put it all together. How do we square the market's intense fear with the protocol's really solid performance? What's the final verdict from today's data?
Honestly, this slide right here tells the whole story of the day. On one side, you have the market sentiment, extreme fear, pushing ETH down significantly. But on the other side, you have the protocol's fundamentals. The engine is intact, it's outperforming ETH, the buy pressure is on, and the radar is clean. The data is showing a very clear disconnect between market psychology and the actual health of the protocol. And that really just leaves us with this final thought. The yield engine, it doesn't care about the fear and greed index. It's a machine.
It ran today, it generated yield, it bought tokens, and it added bonds, all completely independent of what the market sentiment was doing. And that resilience, that's precisely what it was designed to do.
And as always, please remember, this content is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Cryptocurrency markets are highly volatile, so you should always do your own research. We'll see you back here tomorrow.